What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it's time to lead in, bitch. We're here with Jasmine, Danny, myself, Antonio, and Asia cannot be here today, and we're here to talk about what Real Housewives of Potomac. Daddy.
Yes,
Um,
child.
how is everybody doing today?
Amazing.
Black, like I say every week. Real black. Shit, I'm good.
It was quite an episode. I will say, episode six. I
Oh,
did expect it to be a little more because they did
yeah.
kind of hype up some
Gas it up.
things. But
Mm.
but overall, it was a good episode. I've seen a lot of conversation about this episode, specifically about just the whole Giselle thing. But we're gonna get into it tonight. As I said, it's myself, Danny, and Jasmine tonight, and so let's just get into it. But before we do, if you're watching right now, whether you're live watching or you're watching later, be sure to go under the video, click the thumbs up to like the video, okay? Just because it's 2021 and we don't want haters. All right.
Please.
So with that being said, last week we left off at the first day of the trip, right? They get to the trip, they get to this dinner. Of course, Giselle and Karen have a little spit and spat, and it continues this week. This week, the mediator of this is actual Danny's new favorite, Candace.
New favorite.
New
Absolutely.
favorite.
She's getting there.
I know.
She's
It's
she's
climbing.
she's climbing her way up.
She ran you down, ain't it? Goddamn it. Yes, she is.
I'm seeing a lot of statuses. Chad, who does the lean on a different show, but he does the lean. Everybody know Chad at this point. Everybody's kind of saying like, oh, I'm liking Candace a little bit this season. Oh, it hurts me to say this, but this, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad y'all finally came on over just to, the fair side.
Right.
Then it's like,
Still
as you
not
see,
fair.
if you look closely on the screen, Candace is actually peeking through. That was not intentional.
No, she's matured a lot. I mean, I'm not even gonna say that. I will say that I feel like she's grown. It seems like she's rolling better this season. Like she's found her path to maneuver differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have. If you're in the chat, make sure you comment and say that you're here, so we can know you're here. Raven is back. Raven actually was got on the live last week. Raven said, "Well, that's on the screen." Candace isn't being childish and bitchy this season. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now next week's clip, I know we skipping ahead, but that clip when she told Ashley to go get out and take her milk. She said, "Get the fuck out, take your milk.
Get your milk and go."
That takes me. I'm sorry. That takes me out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my Twitter name to getting my milk and leaving.
Get the fuck out. Right.
That is so rude. But nonetheless, she's the mediator for this conversation. Like what she was saying was basically like, you both have done wrong to each other. Do you feel like that was a factual statement? Do you feel like it was a fair thing to say that they both have done wrong, or has it been more one-sided than the other?
Well, it is. I do agree with the statement, but I feel like Karen doing wrong to Giselle has always been a reaction.
Okay.
I always feel like Giselle is always taking the first dig and Karen is always reacting to her.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree. But some people would argue, some people would use that to their advantage for like other people, like as it relates to Kenya or as it relates to like Candace and Monique. Like I've seen that argument. But in this situation, I will say Giselle has poked more of the bear than Karen. Karen has always, she usually would take like, the easy way on out, I feel like. But here recently in the last 2 years, she's been letting her have it. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
She's been biting back. And
she's been biting back. Yeah, she took the high road a lot. She took the high road a lot.
I actually think that in the beginning, and this is just my opinion,
Okay.
I actually think in the beginning that Karen was the one that started it at first.
With the whole Grand Dame stuff?
With the whole Grand Dame stuff, we remember when Sharice was on there. She came up there. She was doing all this, kind of like Grand Dame, the matriarch type of kind of thing. And that's when I kind of thought that started. I'm looking at that comment, but that's when it kind of started. When I felt when it's kind of started like the kind of Karen and Giselle thing. Now saying that it was just as malicious as what Giselle has kind of, when Giselle starts it, I think that more of Karen's is more of like a, lighthearted type of thing. But I do think in the beginning that Karen did start it at first.
See, I think in the beginning, I can agree with you that Karen started with that form.
Mhm.
Um, but Giselle's to me was the first who started going personal.
Yeah.
Karen's mostly was, you're going to bow down to me. I'm in charge. I'm the
Yeah.
grand. I run this town.
Mhm.
But Giselle's always got personal. They poked that, calling Ray Uncle Ben, made the
Yeah.
shirt with the
Tax
taxes,
reform. Mhm.
all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Giselle always went personal. And again, you can't dictate how somebody responds to, you know, your
Yeah. You can't
shade or
tell
whatever. You
somebody how to
can't tell
react.
people how to respond to it. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But Giselle should take the same, Karen been letting her have it if she can't handle it.
But what I can say, just to tap on it just a tad more, I have said previously in other things, other recaps, is that Giselle's trigger is her men. She doesn't like to, like, she's in her mind, is what I get from her. It's like she's so beautiful that she should have a man. So I feel as though that the men stuff, because even when it came back to Monique bringing up that guy that she was dating that she really liked, that did that hooker thing in the park type of thing.
Sherman,
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Sherman.
Sherman. You know,
I
like I
forgot
didn't want to
about
say it again because I thought it was
Sherman.
inappropriate. But I when she did the whole thing with that, that's when I think that Giselle was just really done with her, because I feel like she really liked Sherman. But
Yeah.
when that rumor came back up again on the show, I really knew that Sherman wasn't gonna fuck with her no more, because that was just too personal. And I think from then on, best was off with Giselle. I mean, I like Karen the mom. I mean, we're both Tauruses. I love Karen.
Yeah.
But when I really think about it, on just to be a neutral party, they both have had times when they dug too deep, you know.
But there's also, I think that Giselle's triggers are her men that she dates because she's never fully honest about the situations.
Period.
I want to say
Remind me
that
of
I feel
Kenya.
like it's like fun shade versus, like, they cut to the core shade. Like, I think that which was just said, like, the first season they were literally arguing over seats and like,
Yep.
who's the grand dame, who's this. That's okay, because at that time, Potomac, they had this whole snooty airness about them anyway, so it was like catty. But I think when you start probing into like the relationship, that's when it becomes personal,
Right.
because I mean it's a relationship, and at the same time, child, if you're in a relationship with somebody, come your relationship, child, it sometimes it's all bets off.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that's kind of where they went. So I wouldn't agree that Karen started,
Okay.
because let me ask you a question. Do you feel like the things that they say in confessionals have any weight in terms of like being extra shady and messy, or versus when it happens actually being filmed? Because I feel like in confessionals, you're supposed to kind of spice it up some more. You know what I'm saying? You want to tap more into your character, and then you're also watching things back. Or you're being asked about things that happen. So what do y'all think about that?
I think with the confessionals, that's what you said. You're supposed to spice it up, but you're also, Karen. I saw someone say in the comments that Karen was shady in her confessionals, but I feel like a lot of that has been also playing the stuff back and seeing what Giselle may have said about her in a scene that Karen wasn't there for.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that happens with everybody. They throw their shade because they see that they were talked about, in scenes that they were not there for. They didn't film with.
Well, honestly, with the confessionals, they don't actually watch the episodes until like a day or two before it comes out. When they're in the confessionals, they're literally being asked questions based off of what the producers
okay.
And they form the question. So, obviously they were there, so they remember it. But for example, if they weren't there, then she would be like, "How do you feel about so and so saying this about you?" And this is a moment where, I didn't know she said that, but I'm going to be shady because now I'm offended.
Right. And so so either way, that would still make sense. You're attacked, and like you said, you have to tap into your character.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'm saying, like, I feel like confessional and stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I will say, if you're gonna be that character you are in a confessional, should also translate to the reunion.
Who you are, right?
Because it's gonna come back up. I mean, I know that it's like all supposed to be shade, but sometimes some of the things, confessionals can go a little deep, and they use those things. Like, there's been a lot of things said in confessionals that, Queen, not Drag Race. Some of the housewives have slipped up and said, and they use it against them. You know what I'm saying, later on, because it's still filmed regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think
they did marry like that in Potomac.
I do think that
season.
it does. You asked it to hold the same weight. Honestly, I feel like that in the moment holds the most weight. Because when you come back, it's just like when you get in an argument with somebody and you be like, what, I should have said this shit. I meant to say this shit. So when you go back they're asking questions about something that you were there for, then it's just like you talking shit. To me, you're like, oh, fuck her. You know what I'm saying? She ugly anyway. You know what I'm saying? You just say whatever. But I think it holds more weight to be in the moment. Just just my opinion.
No, you got a point, because that was a genuine reaction. When the confessional, you got time to think on what you want to say.
Right.
Okay. And do y'all hear Mia say she feels like she's in the middle?
Ugly.
Situation?
I mean, dumb.
I don't know what middle, or maybe she, you know what, maybe she don't know what the middle is, and I don't know, because I'm just like,
I don't even know what the middle of her coochie is, so I can't even.
Well, she can't be in the middle, because this episode I sure got that she was trying to be on Giselle's side more than Karen.
It did get that.
So she's not in the middle.
I don't. You know what?
I don't know why. It's just I can't stand people that makes things about them all the time. Like, you're new. At the end of the day, I mean, the only person that I felt was a scholar. I hate that I mess up her name sometimes, but a scholar. She's like, I feel weird because I'm in the middle physically between you guys, but not just. And you're not in the middle. That has nothing to do with you. All that stuff about not I keep saying one, but holy whore, that don't have nothing to do with you. So I don't.
Unless she feels that, she should be loyal to Karen, but she wants to take Giselle's side, and maybe that's what she means. Like, she feels she in the middle.
I don't know.
That's the only.
You talking about a scholar, or are you talking about who? You talking about? Mia. Oh, child. What she needs to worry about is in the middle of them damn pamphlets at her business. She moved them pamphlets to the middle because it was out of place anyway. But anywho, I know I can say that because Antonio not here today to defend her. So, hey Antonio. So I
agree with the comment here.
I do too.
I didn't want to talk about that. A professional woman can't be sexy. So is she calling herself not a professional because
her titties
she doesn't carry herself the way typical I own 50 businesses, do. She doesn't fit the quote unquote stereotype of society.
Yeah. She definitely is trying to.
I agree. I mean,
because why would you even bring up Michelle Obama? Like, that's a grand dame.
That's a whole different.
That's a grand dame for real. Like, you can't compare yourself to the first lady of the United States of America. What you can compare yourself to is who you are. Like, if you feel as though that you could walk around in a ball gown just to go get some hookah or something, then everybody else can be able to do
something. And I expect Wendy to act different for a couple of reasons. Mm-hmm. If I just paid all that money for this and this, you're gonna see them. That's number one. Number two, last season was her first season. She just had a baby. She was learning relationships. She also back then was trying to, I think, how could I not let this show ruin my image as a professor at the school, plus my political comment. I still want to be taken seriously with my political commentating. So I think all that was on her mind, and I think maybe last season we might not have seen the real Wendy last season.
I think we saw a glimpse of it because, like I said, she came up with the pom, and she came up. You better consummate your mackerel. She one of them people that I feel as though like she an undercover freak, but she got to uphold that thing, uphold that look just to be able to navigate through. If we remember Karen before her parents died, rest in peace, she was kind of like that too. She was kind of just, didn't want to say too much. And then on the reunion, Andy was like, you're kind of different. He said that her personality was different. He said that Karen was different as well.
And she told you why.
And she told you why. My parents were still alive, and I still felt as though I needed to, maintain some type of privacy or some type of, just whatever to navigate myself through the show. But at some point, you can't, if cameras around you all the time, you can't just be prim and proper all day if that's not who you are.
Yeah, and she, she don't want to teach no more. So I really don't. She just don't care no more.
She don't give a fuck.
And I think also playing stuff back, she got to see. Okay, I do got to be careful with these girls. She probably watched last season a couple of times over and over and be like, "They some snakes. I got to watch them."
Yeah.
So we kind of skipped around, but since we here,
sorry, that was my fault.
Since we here, we might as well go ahead and dive into it. So of course, Robin and Giselle had a conversation about Wendy, right? And the key thing to this was that when she walked in, they didn't say nothing. They got quiet. They couldn't even bring any attention. That's the time to talk about the rumors, talk about anything. Of course, they didn't say anything. You want to know why? Because they scare little itches.
I say
but as far as what y'all were just saying now, what I hate about it is that I feel like as it relates to Wendy, they're trying to really push this whole she's different because she's not happy, she's insecure. I don't think she's insecure. I don't get that. I think that she is a little quirky and a little awkward with her new sexiness. She has to learn how to really sell it. And she may be doing so much at once to where she looks a little, and it's her second season. I feel like it's so many changes that she is undergoing at once to where to us as the viewers, it looks like she's doing a lot. And honestly, I'm proud of her. And I said it because this franchise has not really had anybody come on and be any type of sexy or try to be sexy, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that's why it's a little harder for them to receive it. That's especially like Giselle.
Except
I'm more
Ashley.
surprised. I'm not. Giselle has been judgy forever, right? But I'm more surprised at Robin just because I feel like at one point back before she was really, really under her coattail, she was a little bit more like down to earth, more like you can relate to her. But now it's like between her, leaving her kids to get a 48% in English and not waking up to 2:00 in the evening, it's just like. They were just so judgmental of her. Yes. And I hate that for her because I really feel like she's truly being herself. I feel like maybe last season wasn't herself. And it would be okay slightly if they did this. And I'd be like, they hate, but whatever. But last season, they literally was just like, oh, you don't have, she got degrees, blah, 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 blah. And now you're saying that, okay, none of that makes anything. You have no substance. Your titties out. You a hoe.
Yeah, that was awful.
That's kind of what I'm reading,
That was awful.
Yeah, it was actually kind of disgusting because, it's like you just basically saying how a woman dresses determines her worth.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then Mia gonna chime in talking about and then saying that shit on the side. Like, I just really do not understand.
Oh, no, Mia was trying to get her lick back, baby. Let me tell you something. Mia has no room to talk about that. She was trying to get her lick back. She was still mad at Wendy from whatever she did to her before that. So, and she probably felt like she was a kind of a hypocrite because I feel like she only did that just to get back at her.
I couldn't have been in that room when Mia talked.
Baby, I could. If she would have said that to me, I would have been like, "Did you go to college? How you know? Have you seen the professor?"
You would have heard.
If she would have said that, they would have said she was aggressive and that she thought she was better than everybody.
That was inappropriate. Like, no, bitch, did you go to college? Do you know what a professor?
Everybody should have stopped talking and looked at me like, "Girl, you're not talking, please."
But Michelle Obama and Oprah, I'm just like, this lady. First of all, we have to remember Wendy is in her mid-30s.
Yeah,
she's not even in her 40s. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like at 30, like she's still young. This show has always had an issue with receiving younger women. Every younger person has come on this show has always been like done. I won't say the worst, but they get the worst of treatment.
The biggest hazing.
The hazing.
Yeah. I mean, Ashley.
Candace got it too.
Ashley, Candace, even Monique. Monique, she got it at first. So it's like Katie, everybody, if you're younger,
40,
it's just
Katie's
naturally.
Old as fuck, really, I don't care.
But Katie don't look
Katie's old. Katie's actually 40 something.
I love Katie.
I love Katie though. I mean, y'all follow on Instagram. She's wild, but she's old though, dude. She just acts young.
I like Ray. That's what Ray won't.
I know that's
Ray
right.
won't sleep with.
I just feel like Karen to take her side.
I love this comment here.
Me too. I would say, child. First of all, I love Handmaid's Tale, but they on some old. This reminded me of when Portia, they was in the bus and she was like, he let me go on this trip, and the Nene was like, what type of she's like, what type of old traditional shit is this? Like, y'all are really tripping at this point. Like, if her titties out, my thing is Giselle is upset that she has to put Versace on her bed and Winnie can put it on her teeth. Okay.
My thing is we're out on a girls trip. If you can't show out and show up, you know what I'm saying, dress nice. I'm sure it was COVID. They ain't been outside. Hell, you got time to put on some cute clothes. Why not just wear something?
That's why I think it was so. And I know I might be skipping, but when Wendy had the private conversation with Karen, when Karen, said something and used the word "my sister," the way she talked to her in that moment, that kind of gave me chills and touched me because you could tell that was not for camera. That was not acting. And Wendy didn't cry. Wasn't about to cry because she was insecure. Her feelings were really hurt because she thought she was around a. She thought she was around a group of women.
I don't know why we always associate, tears and emotion with being insecure and being weak. Like sometimes your feelings are really hurt. Like I feel like, she really, it's crazy to hear her say looked up to Giselle as a big sister, and I realized Giselle is 50.
50.
So that is a big sister to her. But I just feel like you can tell she really liked her, and I feel like it kind of showed.
That could be like an aunt to her, but
but it kind of showed even when she got into it with Mia, how she didn't really have her back then. You know, in the confessional, you can tell like she kind of looked at her, and I think even now, like she's not going in on Giselle. She's just going in on her like. These are the facts. This is what happened. Now, what happens in the episode and what happened at the reunion, I don't know, because I'm sure that more and more will unfold. But I just feel like she was really hurt in that moment, and I'm glad that she had Karen, somebody who is much older, which I feel like holds more value. You know what I'm saying, in terms of like the situation at hand.
I feel as though like it takes the type of woman that Wendy is. It took that to really break her down. Because have we really ever seen her cry for real on this show? Like, no. And that really, you can tell that hurt her feelings, and it was just really unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, Giselle, every time Brandy walks into the room, Giselle is the one that brings her titties up. She's not saying, look at happiness when she walks in the room. She's like, okay, titties and booty. Every scene that Wendy walks in, she's bringing it up. So it's just like, do you like it or do you love it? I think she was literally, like, for sure taken aback, like taken off guard. Like, I can't even believe that you even think this.
I think part of it, too, Wendy thought it was a cute idea, but I think the whole reveal party contributed to them not being able to make it a point and make it an issue and use it as why she's acting different.
Say that one more time.
The whole reveal party that they had, I feel like if Wendy didn't have a reveal party, her breasts might have been talked about here and there, but it wouldn't have been made much of an issue. The fact that she felt the need to announce it to them, I feel like to them that's like, okay, now we're seeing, you had a whole party for him. Now we're seeing him here. Now we're seeing him there.
How do you associate, my man cheated on me, so I'm going to get some titties?
Yeah.
It just makes it vague. I cannot
the girl
stand it because Jamal, is that Giselle's? Is that Jamal? Is that Giselle's ex-husband, Jamal?
Pastor Holy Horse?
Pastor, okay. Jamal has cheated on her multiple times. So did she, you know what I'm saying? Like,
is she the damn cheatologist? What the fuck? Like,
well, and not
I
just that.
just don't understand Giselle. Like Giselle, well, like even at the table, she was like, I can't ask Wendy. And it's just like, no, you really can't ask me. And if you're my friend, then you should have pulled me to the side and asked me. We done been together so many times. You done cussed me out because I wasn't with Wendy. I mean, because I wasn't on Robert's side. But you ain't never told me this before we got into a whole group of people with somebody that you know I've been into with, and other people at the table that don't have nothing to do with your feelings toward me. I cannot even.
Well, that's housewife culture. I'm gonna say that, and I mean it happens. I put Giselle and Kenya by each other, and I really try to figure out who's worse, and I don't know because I feel like I want to say Giselle is battling really close for that spot just because
I don't like Kenya at all, but Giselle beats her to me.
I feel like they both are in bad situations as it relates to relationships, and they both. But Giselle does it more. She really acts like her shit don't stink. The situation. So she had 3 conversations about people's relationships at that table. Okay, she talked about Wendy, right? Maybe, well, she had said for her it was just trying to figure out that as if she was concerned. I don't feel like she was concerned, but even with Robin, she basically was saying like, "Girl, you need to get it together. Your man don't think you cute. This and that." Do you feel like? When she did that to Robin, I was just like, well, damn, she don't give a fuck about nobody.
Ain't nobody say, baby.
What? And on Watch What Happens Live, you could tell that Wendy and Giselle still are not good today because on Watch What Happens Live, Wendy was still letting her have it last night, but they had a guest question last night for her, and the question asked, why can she ask so many questions about people, but why won't she answer them?
Yeah.
And Wendy said because of all of her stuff is made up, and she starts asking about your stuff as a deflection. She said Giselle is good at deflecting.
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
It is true. Because at the end of the day, when a scholar don't know shit from shit, so and she asked that question because she was genuinely.
Wait, you said a scholar, so you think a scholar was asking that because she wanted to know she's being messy?
That she just wanted to know. Like that's what I'm saying. She don't know nothing. I don't think she was just being messy, but I think she was trying to change the subject because Well, maybe now that you ask.
No, I mean, if you look at the comments,
I don't think she was trying to be fit.
I didn't think she was trying to be messy at first, but maybe since she was going
trying to be messy,
everybody at the table, she probably felt like, "What about you, bitch?" Like maybe that
exactly. That ain't messy, but that's like that's up there.
Yeah.
What I've seen from Ascala so far, is that she likes to be fair,
and
I think that in that she took that moment like, well, but girl, you just sat here and asked, like you said, Cortez, you just asked all these people, and now you can't talk.
Yeah,
I wrote some notes.
Look, I wrote some notes on Ascala. Okay.
First of all, they called her so many names. They call her on the thing. They call her Tesla. What's the other? They call her.
Now Tesla is messy. It don't sound nothing like Ascala.
I know, but they call her something else too. But
I wasn't really for sure about Ascala at first because of that whole I just can't hold this in any longer. I didn't know where she was going with that a couple of weeks ago, but she's a bold person, and a bold person. What I mean by that, like even though she's new, she's not trying to be like me and be on the messy train. She's really just trying to be herself, and that's really rare to see someone start their first year and not try to act out or not try to be the star. They're just being themselves. So that I wrote that note.
She's refreshing because of that.
Yeah, she's actually going to be so much better off on this show because she's started off being herself to me.
I hope she take Robin's spot.
Yeah, I want to say that I never disliked her. I do feel like there were many times that she kind of spoke out of turn in terms of what was going on. But then I spoke to Chase today, and Chase was saying that he feels like that maybe it's some editing. I'm like, you know what, that makes it, because honestly, she's been doing these same type of comments throughout the whole season. It's just been kind of awkward before. But I also feel like maybe it's because it's at Giselle, and it's first of all, it's what we're all thinking. It's finally a comment that is warranted.
Yeah.
And we're like looking at Giselle like that anyway, so it just makes sense. I'm curious to see what else she does and how, because I really want her. She has these comments, but I really want to see her in a moment. And it ain't got to be arguing, but I want to see her like really giving her opinion. Yeah, maybe even in a confessional if she gets.
I just realized she has that one yet.
Because she's their only friend of the show as of this season.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah. No. Oh, she said, okay. Scarlett's filling in as a producer mouthpiece while Ashley's gone. Ashley, child.
Well, Ashley's she's not a mouthpiece. She's messy on her own. That's just her personality.
But I like that for her.
Ashley's terrible. Ashley's awful.
She's needed. She's needed.
There were two things that. Oh, go ahead.
I feel like she's needed, because she has no loyalty. She goes back and even repeats what Giselle says and all that stuff. Because I mean, if not for Ashley, a lot of stuff Giselle said wouldn't come to light either until the reunion when people have watched everything. So Ashley is the bone character. Ashley's. But
why doesn't she ever why don't she ever be asked to hold accountability of it though? Because at the end of
that's why. But see, the only person that don't give a damn about her being pregnant or not pregnant is Candace. That's the only person. She don't care. So maybe going forward, she don't have no more babies. Please not.
Please. Well, I think she should try for a girl.
Birth is a beautiful thing. However, I'm sick. I'm tired of pregnant housewives. I
am too, because I feel like
I'm tired of it. It's like you need to take that season off and have your baby, and then you come back.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because it's just like we don't get what we need from you. Just take the time off, and come back. It's only 9 months, right? Why not?
Oh, I just can't stand her. I can't stand her pregnant. I can't stand her not pregnant. I can tolerate her more pregnant. But from the beginning, she's just never really gotten what she has deserved with the things she has done.
I don't know whose comment was that what I just said, but Derek said, "A damn man."
He talking probably you about her being gone, or Jazz saying she don't like her.
Well,
because he don't like Ashley.
I just said from the beginning, she has never just had any accountability for stuff. Like even with the Robin and Juan stuff, they said a little stuff to her, and Ashley has gotten away with so much shit, and I just do not. That's why I don't like her, because even with that clip of her telling Wendy, why you weren't even invited on this trip, sweetie. I don't care. Oh, sorry, I can't.
Well, you never know. Production probably told her to say it too. I mean, they get instructed on what to do too.
Well, you got.
What you talking about? You talking about the giving her the notice this week?
Well, we're gonna see next week.
No, you know what? I mean, you can. My thing is, she could not invite her, but she don't. I don't mind her coming in the way she does. Now, what I do want to talk about is, I know it's next week, but as far as Candace getting upset with Ashley, it's early. But do you think that why do you think she gets upset with Ashley? We're thinking ahead. But if you're in the comments, let us know why you think that Candace gets upset with Ashley next week about telling Wendy about the cheating stuff.
I think that she got upset, and here's my notes. Because no, I really think she got upset because this was her first trip that she brought everybody together. She's been trying to be the peacemaker since we said at the beginning. She's been trying to be the peacemaker since she got there. And then all of a sudden, Ashley comes back. She wasn't invited, and she comes and starts some shit. So it's just like, dude, why did you even come here if you was gonna do that? I thought you was had the baby. I thought you was gonna be on some just kumbaya shit, and she came here and started shit. One thing that I have a note about that is boundaries. I do not think that Ashley respects Candace's boundaries. Even if you don't like somebody, if she said you wasn't invited on the trip, all you had to do if you really wanted to go was ask. It wasn't Giselle's place to invite you on that trip because it wasn't her. Didn't Giselle just say to me, that I told you that you couldn't bring her because as a grown woman, we tell you on who's on the guest list. So the guest list was made, sweetie, and the guest list didn't include her. So why did she come? And if you was going to come, then you should have acted like you had some sense and not started that, because that was Giselle's rumor that she done said it multiple times. She done said it all week. But then why you going to come and say it? Let Giselle say it. She fake as fuck. Let Giselle say it.
What's your reason?
Two things.
That was a lie. You got notes too, Danny? No,
I don't have notes, but let me respond to that. So two things. I don't necessarily think that I really think that it's because it was Ashley that she had the whole reaction of you coming here messing things up. Because let's be clear, it's not a peaceful trip. Wendy arguing with Giselle, Wendy arguing with, it's not a peaceful trip. So we can cut that one out. It's not a peaceful trip. We know there's going to be drama regardless. So no, that's not it. That's not it. And then number two, if she really did not want her there, when Giselle told her I invited her, she could have told Giselle uninvite her, or I'll call her, I'll send her a text. She don't need to come. She could have did that too.
But at the end of the day, she's always being crucified for being that way towards Ashley. I can see her just saying whatever. She's pregnant. Whatever is going to be one day.
And that's fine. But you also can't turn around and say it against her no more that she wasn't invited, because Candace also never told her you couldn't come. She got to invite for somebody else going. So, but I think she got mad also because later on Wendy gonna say, "Bitch, you knew this and you didn't tell me."
Right.
I saw a lot of things today. Personally, I am more with what you were saying, Jasmine, just because I do feel like this is her first trip. And I know, that's going to be drama regardless, yes. But this is a whole different type of drama. You remember last year with Monique when they brought that cheating stuff to the trip, and she was like, my book with hers, she was like, why are they bringing this up here? I just feel like there is certain mess that can happen. Of course, the Karen and Giselle thing going to happen. That's fine. Let it happen. It's TV. But as far as this, because if you see in the preview, you see that Candace actually starts. It's like she's crying. She cries a lot. But it's like she crying. So I think that this moment next week probably is like a damn shaker. I feel like it's gonna cause a great division amongst them, just like last season, that fight, because it's just like, and it really, the division is really everybody against Giselle almost, because
and Robin.
Well, and Robin, but she don't matter, child.
I mean, she nasty. I seen that thing. She talking about something. I'm gonna fuck myself. She's disgusting. I can't stand her.
After she said, when she hit on the post, she said it's been through worse. Girl, now you talking about
she got on the bodysuit. I put on the bodysuit all the time and stay up my ass.
She probably
that's what a bodysuit's supposed to do. Beat up your ass. I mean, sometimes it just crawls up anyway.
Tired as she always is. She probably ain't
I was on this post that somebody did bring up that Candace did do that on Monique's trip. But my only think of differences is Ashley came there with that information already, but Candace got that information on the trip. She didn't seek it out. It came to her on the trip. Ashley went up there with that information already. And that's the only difference that I see. That's the difference that I see of it.
It was meant for her to tell that because it was told to her twice in two different scenes. It was meant for her to carry that bone. I mean, that's just production. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think
production played a big part.
I want to see how she delivers it and I want to see how she delivers it. You know what I'm saying? Because she has no ties to Wendy. So that's what I want to see how everybody reacts, all of that. Because it seems like I don't know why Robin would even be getting upset. You know what I'm saying?
'Cause
Robin
Giselle.
said she didn't even believe it. And then she
Robin
said,
Robin getting upset because she got
Ashley
to
didn't
earn
even
her. She
believe
got
it
to.
either. Then why
She got to have Giselle renew her contract for next season. She got to defend her. Giselle has to renew her contract.
Giselle needs to renew hers, honey, before she starts. Because, honey, this whole not having a man thing and Grace can't drive thing is going to only be so long, okay? It's about as much as I can take because, I mean, she goes
We're not going to see her and Karen argue for 10 more seasons. I'm
no,
not
because
with it.
Karen's not finna engage
well,
in no
this,
more.
you know, that there's obviously you got Wendy and Giselle coming, and then you got whatever happens with Mia and Candace, and then of course Ashley and Candace have because I think this is where Candace says you got your wide body
ass. That's the blackest that I've seen Candace.
Yeah.
When she said that, I said, honey, who said that? Was that bitch in my house?
That is rude.
Your big body, big wide, big back ass and came up here starting shit. You just gotta let
And I feel like that's where that comes from. So you probably, I don't know if she says it then or says it later. But the last scene, of course, was Wendy and Karen. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I was gonna say this scene was a good scene. I want to say Wendy looked beautiful. Like she looked good. This was, I mean, not the first time, but like the makeup, the hair, everything, like the color, the white. She looked really, really, really good. And I just feel
which
bad
I'm happy
for her,
about because her makeup was so bad last season.
It was all over the place.
And she's been looking good every scene.
What I dislike, and I want to say that I hate that we are always on, like, for example, Bruce Adora. Let's say last season we said she can't dress, she tacky, blah blah blah. Now if she come back this season with all this work done, you know what I'm saying? We asked for it, right? So honestly, we put the pressure on these first time girls that come in, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't come in right. I mean, I bet you next season if we come back, their skin gonna be real smooth.
Yeah, I don't know. It's starting to get cradled. When it starts to get cradled like that, you kind of take that away. Okay.
That's Kenya. She can't.
I just want to say that I just feel like we have to. It's unfortunate that you know what I'm saying we kind of pressure these housewives and these reality TV stars to kind of have this second season glow up. And here she comes with her glow up, and it's very unfortunate when you're very proud of something, whether it's some titties, whether it's a new job, and you don't have your friend circle to help you celebrate that. Like it's just like that. I feel like she wants support, and she probably get it from others, but to have two people say she has no substance, that's like crazy. I mean, Shawty told Malay she had no substance, so I'm just saying, like, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and in the same situation with Shawty. You literally got somebody boring with no substance telling you have no substance.
You have no substance.
Right. Like that's low. That's low.
That's low.
But I do love also when Karen told her, "You cry here." You don't give her that.
Yeah.
Cry here.
Well, I want to say one thing about Wendy. I do think that she has always been a good dresser. I don't know about the makeup and stuff. I really never paid that much attention, but I thought she's always been a nice dresser, actually.
No, her clothes were never bad.
Her clothes were never interesting. I think she just had to, the makeup palette was a little off sometimes, and the wigs, everything. It wasn't bad. It was just her first season. She maneuvered. She got a team, obviously. So I'm happy for her to have that. It's just I wish that the cast would receive it because we've been telling Giselle she's been taking for 6 seasons. If she ain't got it by now, she don't care. So
you know what? Wendy's makeup was never blended. Wendy's face was always too light.
And that long ass ponytail that she got on this damn confessional looks like somebody just did like that and left it. Like that ponytail is awful.
I will say this. I want Wendy to lend her makeup team to my new girl Candace.
Candace?
Yeah, I don't like Candace's makeup either. Candace is a beautiful woman. I don't like her makeup. She's very beautiful, but I don't like her makeup.
What you don't like about it? Was it the one that was like the little color thing there?
No, Candace always to me, she looking like Casper the Ghost sometimes. Her face is always too light too.
I've seen comments. I've seen drag makeup. I read the comments. I don't necessarily agree, but I do think it did be a little heavy sometimes on some of the.
And she doesn't. That's what it is. It's heavy, and she really doesn't need it. I've seen scenes of her.
And I think? I feel like Wendy this season has stepped down a little bit of the makeup, and that's why
it's
it looked
down.
good. Because in that scene with Karen, she looked the fuck good.
Yeah,
it don't like very much at all. It looked natural. So whatever that was, that's what needs to that works with her skin, everything. The lashes.
And that's literally what Candace could be doing because Candace has good skin. She's a pretty woman. She's still young, youthful, like all that. She could,
I think
But again, she probably likes to be glamour and over the top.
Candace loves a
That is so true, Derek. He said Candace loves a deep crease and an overly drawn brow. It's a standard look, a standard makeup that she does. It's the Candace face.
I think
I didn't mind the red thing there.
Maybe that's the makeup. That's the best makeup for when she starts crying. When she can.
I think it comes from being in
no,
the
but you know what? You just
and having to have.
That's a good point, Jazz.
That's true. That's true.
Because you got to make sure they see you far. Because I used to be not in.
And you know, but that's the thing, though. you
went in the pageant, Jazz.
When you're in a pageant, and you're on stage, you paint for the spotlight because you're not close up.
Mm-hmm.
But the confessional, the light is on you.
That's
so you don't need it. And I think that's what it is. It doesn't. It don't.
Y'all like Giselle's? Y'all like Giselle's substitute teacher Valentine's sweater?
That's why I said that sweater was awful. Like,
look at this comment.
Why did you wear it?
A day at the nursery home PTA meet somewhere in Utah. Ooh, she did look like a prison inmate.
Who did?
Baby, when Giselle looked in that mirror, said, "Oh, pretty." I threw my remote.
Pretty.
It's on my phone. Well, look, I said, "Girl, I know you the fucking lying."
I know you fucking lying to me.
Just looked like a Humpty Dumpty in that. She didn't look. I mean, I thought Giselle had boob job too, because that's her natural boob, because she got big titties too, and she just looked like, I'm in B cup, so I'm okay.
I just think Giselle, and I say this outwardly, she is a beautiful, like, if she don't talk, her personality, she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But she puts the T in tacky.
Yeah, she does. And then she gonna say, "So I'm taking my sliding doors out. I want these ones, baby. Take the paint off of one of them houses and put it on the other one. What you need to do is just connect your house to make it one cohesive house, like
or knock it down and start over.
Right.
With all the decor
inside. It would have been just if somebody that just had taste, that would have been a great house to redo. Actually.
Yeah.
Karen could have had that house done nice.
Oh yeah. She would have. So.
Well, before we get out of here, of course, this is the time if you're watching where you can join and give your commentary.
Come on in, Derek.
Ask questions. Anybody, if you're watching right now, the line is open. The link has been posted. We give everybody like a minute or so to say what they got to say before we get out of here.
Is there one?
Huh?
Is there one?
Right. I'm gonna say it was so.
We didn't talk about Michael talking about one.
I'm tired of talking about one.
Yeah. I'm just saying why he asked was one available. Because
I meant to say this.
They'll need a man.
Now that you brought him up, Jasmine. I think Michael is also a big reason why a lot of people don't like Ashley too. Like their disdain for him just is attached to her automatically too. And it's just like they disgusted by him and just.
No, I like Michael. I like Michael.
You like Michael?
I do like Michael. Actually, I know that's probably just weird, but at the end of the day, Michael gonna be Michael. When he has that moment, when Michael's drunk, I bet he's a good ass time to hang.
You're gonna turn your Potomac card on that one.
Oh, okay.
Like him. I don't just like him like that, but when he gets drunk, I feel like he's a good ass time.
Oh my God, that's when I don't want to be around him. You got somebody that's gonna join. So now, listen, if you're gonna join, you got to put your actual name now. I don't know who Hi is, okay, but I think I know who this is. Just from last week's live. What's up? Welcome to the league. Let us know who you are and how you doing.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
Good to you.
Is this what I think it is?
Yeah, it's me. It's me from New York City. You know what? I put hi up there. I should just put my name up there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's going on? What you got to say?
No. I came in I always come in a little late when I'm working on these days. But I agree with Jasmine right at the top because I remember what she was saying that Ashley always getting away with everything. I totally agree.
Thank you, baby.
Yep.
You're welcome, sugar.
Okay, well, bye, hi. No, I'm just joking.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking for real.
That is okay. That is okay. But I think that for me, I agree. I think Ashley. Well, there's a couple of things that happened. They were talking. I don't know. I just feel like the girls were talking about nothing this episode. To be honest with you, because I was just thinking the conversations were tired, in my opinion. Like the biggest thing that we could talk about was the fact that Wendy could have changed, and I was confused too. But I think when she was at the table and she said, well, I started filming after I had my baby, and my baby had a little bit of issues. So I was a little depressed postpartum, and I joined the Real Housewives of Potomac. That just answered everything for me. So it was nothing else
I
for me.
agree. I feel like she
100%.
said everything that was needed to be said. Like, I
think
don't know what
so.
else they would need it.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I
they
think
wasn't
so.
buying it.
Yeah, they
It
weren't.
Well, I think that sometimes when they don't buy those things, I think it's just for them to continue the storyline. I feel because I
Yeah.
think that for people with I think people with common sense in the real world, if a woman tells you, I was dressing more conservative once I've had my baby, and at that time, and I think that Ashley, if she don't get pregnant with a blessing this year, she might be dressing out there, dropping like it's hot too next year.
Yeah, we done
So
said she let her coochie hang low in
Oh,
anything.
child.
that's
Well,
right,
everything that
absolutely.
don't heal. But okay, we
She
got
need to get that phone number from Mia. Ashley.
Oh Lord.
We got somebody that's going to join. Brooke is waiting to get on. Thank you for joining in today, and hope we see you next week too.
Okay.
Episode 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
I didn't say bye. I can't stand Danny for real.
Hey, Brooke, welcome to the wing. How's it going?
Hi, long-time viewer, first-time caller.
Yes,
Hey, Brooke.
welcome.
I just want to say I know y'all all like Wendy can be as sexy as she wants to and all that, and that is great. I'm not her age. I'm a few years younger than her, but it just seems like too much to me at 37. And I understand she had her kids and everything, but for us to have never seen this part of her personality, to me, makes it seem like something has happened that maybe we haven't seen. And I don't think it's because she's insecure about her marriage or anything like that. It's just too much. Like, it's too much for me. And maybe it's because we started last season in the pandemic. When we met her, we're still in the pandemic and it's the next season. And maybe that's why it feels like real quick. But to me, there's some reason why she is off this. But I do agree with, I think, Jasmine saying that the party kind of made it a topic of conversation. So you can't have this big party revealing your new body and then be like, well, stop talking about it now. To me, it was like you put it out there for consumption. Like you wanted everybody to look, stop, see me. And then you can't be mad when people have opinions about it. That's just me. I mean, she looks good. And I have nothing wrong with a woman who is smart, being both smart and sexy. It just seems quick. And I want to know, like, what happened. I don't know. That's just me, though.
No,
I
it's
didn't
interesting you say
Brooke.
that because I was thinking that.
Danny
no,
just
that
said
was
that.
me.
Danny said that.
No, Brooke, but I actually think about what you're saying now. While you were speaking on that, I thought about, Wendy is 37 and doing all this now. But if you think about it, Wendy, her whole life has been performing to what her mother wanted her to be.
Right.
So I think now she's finally like taking that step to say, I'm going to be what I want,
Yeah.
So I think she's trying to finally gaining her freedom and actually being herself instead of what others have always wanted her to be.
And I think that'd be great if that's what she said. If that's what she was telling us, that she came on and said, you know what, all my life I've been doing what other people wanted me, presenting myself how I thought I was supposed to, but this is the real.
Say that? Did she not say that?
I feel like she said that last season. I feel like she was trying to. That was her storyline last season, but it just kind of went from I don't want to be a teacher anymore to boom. You know what I'm saying? I think it was just a fast transition. And you know what I'm saying? Like we see this all the time. I mean, with just women in general, you can go back to Britney Spears going from this to, you know what I'm saying? Like this slave for you. Just was like, I feel like this happens a lot. And I feel like with Wendy, I do like where she's going and I support her. Maybe I don't think she's overly sexy, but we don't have to see her boobs every scene. It's just like
she's paid for them. You're gonna see them.
But can I to the person who said, like, pointed out to Portia, but we knew why Portia changed. Because she got divorced. And even with like Karen, talking about Karen, we knew, and you don't have to have a reason. Yeah. I'm just saying, to me, it feels fast. I only know 2 seasons. I think she still looks beautiful and great. I just, for an entertainment show, I feel like I need some background information.
So when she had the new party, I was like, what? Which one is it? But she had the new party. She sat there and Giselle said, land the plane, Wendy, land the plane. So when she was explaining, I've done this, I've breastfed 3 kids. I felt like I've never really just done something for myself. And I just don't want to be put in a box. Like she had a long soliloquy about why she had this stuff done. So it's really crazy to me to hear people say, well, she ain't tell us why, but she did. And honestly, she didn't have to, because at the end of the day, that's her money. That's her time, and she got what she wanted to fix, and she thought sharing it with her girls at a party that since during COVID was going to be something that was more like a supportive thing than a whole lot of questions and judging of it, which I mean, that's an opinion to say I need more stuff. But if you don't know her like that, then I just think that you should just take what somebody says at face value until you do.
I agree. If she wasn't on TV, I would agree with it. Ain't none of my business.
Yeah.
But she's gonna show me.
I was gonna say,
I mean,
if she was just in my regular life, I'd be like, "That's you like it, I love it." But if I want to watch you on TV, I feel like I need more. But that's just where I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Brooke, for joining. Well, hopefully we see you next week for episode 7, chat. Because next week gonna be good. Next week, whenever we get into it, Brooke is actually always here. She watches faithfully. We talk all the time, on and off. So maybe we get her as a permanent host one time.
Nah, I'm good. But I love y'all. And Jasmine, you typically are my favorite. We didn't have the same opinions today, but I do normally agree with you.
Good girl, thank you.
Oh, well, bye, Brooke. I'm just joking.
All right, Brooke.
But
yeah, so today, episode 6, episode 7 is next week. Hopefully they give us a lot more. I do agree with I can't even think his name right now, chat, but they got on before Brooke, where he said that the episode right. That he said that basically episode they didn't really talk about a lot other than the scene, and they really didn't, honestly. Like that's why we just kind of skipped on over, because it was like bam, bam, boom, right here at the where we need to be. So next week, hopefully it's better. And what are we gonna say today, Danny? Go ahead.
No, I was I actually enjoyed High and Brooke. I thought they I enjoyed them both. They gave good insight, a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're watching, of course, every week we are here at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, or 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, or 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, whatever time. We're here every week, every Monday at the same time. And like I said, we're now allowing guests to join in on live towards the end of the show. So keep leaning in. We're gonna be here. If they're not here, then me and Jasmine will be here. If Jasmine is here, then I'll be here talking to the screen. Maybe Latoya will be here. Somebody will always be here talking about Potomac. With that being said, we're gonna lean out. Again, thank y'all for watching. And we will see you guys next week. Make sure you go underneath the video, hit the thumbs up, because we need that support.
Don't be a hater.
Everybody, right? Don't be a hater. I'm getting that on shirts.
So don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater.
Click the button or something.
Happiness.
Push the buttons.
Push the button.
Okay, y'all. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a good rest of y'all lovely Monday, and we'll see y'all later.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.